Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when them cook the soup or plasas where them like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when them cook the soup or plasas where them like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when them cook the soup or plasas where them like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m. salon.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when them cook the soup or plasas where them like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m. salon.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when them cook the soup or plasas where them like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m. salon time from Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them wey dey can help for talk about the newspaper. We are the channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Good morning and welcome to another beautiful edition of a program we call Colorious right on We Are on YouTube and on Facebook. Well, today we don't come back for look at the different story them inside the newspaper them this morning. Well, we actually get different story them where we don't see come up from the different newspaper then. And we start with the first paper for this morning. The first paper for this morning where we go start with now the Global Times newspaper where say NCRA DG says national and non-national ID cards are mandatory. You get deployable states of correctional facilities, and you get Jawe politics, a chronological analysis of the political situation in Jawe, Chiefdom constituency 007. This is another story there for you inside the Global Times newspaper for this morning. And the next one are the Nationalist, where say electing President Bio will be a mistake. PPRC wants SLPP surrogate in APC. Abubakar Taylor vows to unite APC. This is another story for you inside the Nationalist newspaper. And the next paper this morning at the Open Space, we say unanimous consent to amend NACIT Act. As the Visit Information Minister, Market Chairman, and women vow to follow President Bio. President Bio says agriculture next priority after education. ACC team monitors SSN payment in 8 districts. This is another story for you inside the Open Space. And the next paper for this morning, now the News 24, we say as Balandunguya section chiefdom election delayed, PC Salifu Mana Conte, the third accused of extortion. And you get NCRA announces cost of new ID cards. And as a commissioned LEONE Oil Grammar School outlets, PRA boss assures industry expansion. LEONE Rock Metal Group successfully held the first annual press conference and the launching ceremony of the One Nation tournament. This is another story there for you inside the News 24. And the next one for this morning, now the Voice of Salone. We say SLIA to cough 52.179 million leones. SLNFRO lift suspension. And you get ACC monitor second quart SSN payments in 8 districts in Sierra Leone. President Bio makes another lofty promises. This is another story for you inside the Voice of Salone. And the next paper for this morning is Salone Compass. We're taking all mining on the rampage and billions unaccounted for at enemy. This is another story there for you inside the Salone Compass. And the next one for this morning, now the Camboy Times newspaper, we say big shake-up in police. This is another story for you inside the Camboy Times newspaper. And the next one this morning, now the Salone Times, we say over machine ring service project. 16.9 billion in limbo at Agriculture Ministry. WHO organizes AMR SOTS IT Impact Assessment Training. NACIT holds National Consultative and Validation Conference. APC loses votes to ASLPP over public election petition rules 2022. This is another story for you inside the Salone Times newspaper. And the next one, and the Night Watch newspaper, we say after false promises, what is Bio's message for June 24th? And they ask a question. This is another story for you inside the Night Watch newspaper. And the next one, now the Premier News, we say poor officiating rocks Sierra Leone Premier League. Then you get Sierra Leone, Jamaica to sign MOU on tourism cooperation. Sierra Leone has got a reliable partner, Arise, IIP. this and other story for you inside the Premier News. And the next paper, now the prime time newspaper, will say why APC must elect by Mahmoud as organizing secretary. When you get Florence Iyema, Sivali donate water tank to Fonima community. Red Cross support Funkia fire victim with hygiene kits. This and other story there for you inside the primetime newspaper. And the Gleaner newspaper say 48.1 billion missing at Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School. Former Petroleum Directorate extends LEONE fifth offshore license round. This and another story there for you inside the Gleaner newspaper. Well, we go now to we guest for we actually see waiting now the discussion inside the program this morning. In the meantime, we take this week. Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me 8 a.m.
Alright, welcome back. Well, we actually get we guest with we na the program we na Lawrence Williams na the man for Freetown Post, na the brain behind Freetown Post newspaper. Well, Lawrence don't join me inside the program like always, not a stranger, and they don't do justice to the different issues. They may just be very much blunt with the issue, talk them out a day and not look face at all. So, Lawrence, one more time, good morning and welcome to the program, Colgate.
Yeah, good morning, Ali. Good morning to we listeners, viewers across the globe on Facebook, on YouTube, and anytime they get to from. Good morning.
All right. So we actually go with the newspaper then we don't get inside the program this morning. I already don't read the different headline them. We could go now to the different paper them. Let me see what we get. I'll start with the last one where I read. Let's just go through the list again and see the last one we actually get inside the program this morning. Alright, so I'll start with this one. We now the Global Times, we now the first paper, we are read this morning. We say NCR ADG says national and non-national ID card are mandatory. So basically, when they talk about the ID card, you don't follow up the story, it's not available now?
It will become available soon, and they already put out a public notice or press release if you like, yesterday or the day before, wherein they can also then peg the prices to dollars. This one at $15, this one at $100, this one at this. So they list the categories of ID cards them we they get for offer. The national identity card, the ECOWAS ID card for ECOWAS citizens, the one for non-ECOWAS citizens resident in Sierra Leone as well, and they also get other categories of ID cards that they list now the press release, and the cost, the dollar rate, the dollar cost for the ID cards and the LEONE equivalent of and the dollar rates for each category of ID card that we foretake. Then of course, saying that it's mandatory, this is not just when the DG say for me, it's about when the law say. The NCRA Act make make a mandatory power for let we all take ID card. Just like how the act also make a power so make we all register with the NCRA. So it's not just about what the digits
So
say.
in
I
some
think
cases, like in other country, police or the immigration officer, they can just stop and ask you for your ID card at any point where it can happen, and then you for able to present them to them.
I don't follow. I don't get people who don't testify about how the police in especially Europe very effective in doing that. But for Salo, I don't think so we don't reach that level yet. Because in the very first place, remember at the time when they do the registration or the verification of re-registration of all around the way in an NCRA database so that are not captured in time for capture. The period within which we've been do that one, whether we make a district or regional level, they've been too short. And many people been complaining that NSA they not be reached in the area. They particularly hard to reach areas in the provinces. And the NCRA not decentralized, fully decentralized in operations yet. That is why and forget offices in every district, for example. Make sure to there are registration centers in every chiefdom, because it's not reasonable enough for in as much as it's mandatory for everybody for register. But assuming that somebody in a Kubula born picking now is supposed to register that picking day. So if the registration center not near outside that person day, but you no expect that purpose to wait for itself for the day, so they not get 1 square meal a day. But let go pay up to then 300,000 for Kana Kabalatong for Kana register. I mean, it just not make any sense. So until the NCRA fully decentralized, then we will say they are able to account for the exact a number of residents, whether not Sierra Leone citizens or foreign nationals that were residents in Sierra Leone. And so yes,
you see, the
mandatory.
NCIA starts with birth certificate. For example, if you born, whether you're a national or not, where you born inside the country, now compulsory for the nurse or the site where you born able for send you information outside they make the birth certificate. That is if they not get them. And from birth certificate, you get certain time or certain age where the picking for reach, where now are compulsory for that office where you're responsible for ID card, able for work with that particular parents day for let the picking will get in ID card. So that is why I've been talking the other day say the census starts from the time when they born person. Census starts from the time where person they come inside the country. All of the information and therefore be made available to the immigration and the births and deaths. All of that and then count where we they talk about census. So like in census, for example, if they get for doing a sort of verification and not to this guy who boss where they spend a lot of money for make sure say they put things them together.
You're right, my brother. You're right. Now that make me say for the fact that the operations of the NCRA are not fully decentralized at district level, at chiefdom level, even at village level, it will be difficult for me to get an accurate data on the citizenry of Sierra Leone, including foreign nationals resident in Sierra Leone. It's a tedious task. It involves a lot of resources, but it also involves careful planning and implementation. They're more or less than a major district headquarter towns, and registration business not for be centralized because it is mandatory. It just sounds like somebody then let me see Kailaung, so let's say a village in Kailaung, then there is a traveling opportunity for that person. Again, for campo, na immigration for can making passport, assuming that person not get passport. Then it's a huge constraint. You find out even when you go don't spend for come and go, it's almost equal to the amount we they can pay, which is the equivalent of $100 for the passport. And so it's challenging for us. Yes, so it's not about, yes, it was good for let them start all of these rolling out. And mind you, few weeks back, the Bank of Sierra we also in line with this registration, this national identification numbers, we will forget. Now we national identity cards them, and the Bank of Sierra Leone at link instructed the commercial banks that every account holder for link up in account with in national identification number, even the one itself for them picking away for take WAS or public exams, so to speak. I remember during the registration last year, was it around between October to December, the picking and even stage a protest because the ministry didn't pull one press release say any picking will not get NIN and a national identification number no go be eligible for be registered for take this WAS what for take so this year.
Exam, yeah.
Yeah, the public exams there. Even for those new entries or candidates making entry into public universities. So then we rush pull all the things and the way even the NCIA not being fully prepared it for like deliver on this. But we hope say because they don't postpone them several times, we hope say that this time around they will actually give the ID cards them. I just imagine no more the kind crowd we will begin get the officer on the back. And I would have loved to see a way wherein certain against some they don't create an electronic system wherein people can actually pay online either through AfriMoney or Orange Money or some other means where the person don't need to be physically present for go through them process and because you already don't capture the person all thing like database. You only need for interact with the officers them through an app or an online a web-based application wherein they go over for facilitate all of these. So at the end of the day, they only tell the person they appear physically now for go collect the ID card. But for new registrants, for new people we they not capture it, those ones will be required to be physically present or make them capture them biometric details, fingerprint, snapshot or photo and all the other things. But for that, who they will be don't register them, don't verify everything. I think there should be that easy way for make we able for pay online, do all processes, fill all forms online, and just go no more and collect your ID card. That way, go able for reduce the time constraints on both parties, reduce that crowd we go get a day, and increase the efficiency in the delivery of such services.
All right, and you actually don't talk for the police, so for the NCIA themselves. I'm not sure say they even get that capacity. They forget waiting you try for highlight. So now for make this thing be simple because for example, even inside Freetown when Freetown, I just one gain office then get for do all of them things then they. And in most cases, then they can send people from upline for even come back inside Freetown because so remember that demonstration the way you talk about. So we see inside one young man being coming from Bo, where even in mama, in not get parents, in not get mama and papa, now just in granny na be able pad. So in granny get for do all what it take for they even pay for and for come back inside Freetown. Where come back now that's some you're able for get what he wants, pass where they end up for protest and send them back go without waiting and come for. You see. All of them think that decentralization very important, but I don't know the system we able to get system for register people them na different voting center them, but when it comes to thing we get for do with the development we no able to forget that. So we find out that the politicians them or the government they prioritize election material they go na every villages, but when it comes to then things that we get for do with national development, they go all side. Why we politicians, why we governments them always focus on them things they are the ballots and not the development?
In fact, you just draw or jog my mind to something where journalist Matakagbo been say one time. He say, when it comes to development, the politician can begin pull story or long narrative. Say, the road war for Gonami constituency, development they reach all sides. But when it comes to voting, the ballot box they go all sides because they need the people in vote. So that answers the question partly. One, it gets to do with resources. Two, it gets to do with the political will for ensure the decentralization is achieved. Because mind you, one of the reasons one of the reasons that we contributed to the widespread agitation among young people and communities will lead to the war now, because when Shaka Stevens being don't dissolve local councils, there wasn't this touch, there wasn't this interaction between the central government and the local grassroots people. That interaction will be done cut off because local council now them be in charge of development at local level. So because them dissolve local council, not nobody work so far, and not nobody trickle down, then it be lead to widespread agitation. Now, when the local council Act of 2004 came into being, one of the primary goals to be achieved was decentralization, the devolution of functions, powers, resources, and everything to establish local councils for take development to the people at that level. Now that make in fact the Local Government Act of 2004 make it very, very clear that local councils now they responsible for development at local level, now the highest authority for development at local level. We mean say if local councils are well capacitated, for example, the NTRA not necessarily need for establish their own offices in every district per se, but they can establish a desk in every local council, district council or local councils. They can get a desk, NTRA desk officer, now they inside and they, or they can establish a unit, NTRA unit or department within the local council structure, so that they want and they be able for now implement the NTRA activities them at the local level. They can engage the CSOs them at the district or the council or the locality or the jurisdiction. They can engage the media, engage the people, roll out sensitization, education, awareness, raising on all of the activities there, the purpose, the benefits of all when in NTRA they do, so that people get to fully understand and be able to participate and also be able for access the services we NTRA suppose by law for offer to we the citizens them. So it's just that probably we get when so normally when a government or when a political party is in opposition, they will come up with all the fine ideas on how for push development go before. Well, but when they are elected into governance, then all the ideas then they can somehow vanish or not able for work. And this is not just particular about this regime, but this is not something when a successive regimes the pattern.
I think it just come on to all the regime them, to all the governments.
It cuts out. It's common. It's
because
very common.
The way box not they reach all side for election. But when it comes to any development issue, now they tell the road keep well. Now they tell any bad things can happen at the road. Hey, this bridge don't cut off, all of the. But when it comes to box, even if now they use canoe, then they use them. Anyway, so this na salon for we all, and the system this will get. Let's just look into this. I see this headline again at the same Global Times. So we say deployable state of correctional facility. Now, difference there between overcrowding and deployable condition. Now that they focus now, we don't get overcrowding for long term. Now they get now deployable. We mean very bad condition. The facility they're not good at all. now we get you know, I don't know, for long term we don't dey talk about this decongesting, how for make sure say the facility them habitable, but what do you think about this?
Now, with correctional facilities, to be very frank, for a very long time, don't they in a deplorable state? Not just the overcrowding, as you say, but when it comes to other, indicators like sanitary condition, the toilet facility, for example, the water system, for example, even the food where the inmates and prisoners them, they eat or whether they serve them, even the conditions of the cells in terms of whether the cells then clean, whether they get foam, then they for sleep and everything. So there are a lot of issues where the audit report.
I think the condition of the cell are one of the worst where we talk about.
Yeah, where the audit report captured. Even the last audit report talk about that. A lot of issues where the prison facility or the correctional service not able for put in place. Mind you, my understanding is that the purpose of sending somebody to the correctional center and make them change the name by an act of parliament wherein from prison or jail yard to correctional center. It is expected that if somebody don't do wrong, then send and go jail. Within that period where that person they serve in jail time, the facility for able cater for make that person be able for reforming steps. So if not been thief man, we come on, I not for be thief man again. At the very least, if I learn something, if not somebody will never learn. At the very least, if not somebody will be the go school. There should be some form of education. If not somebody will not be the go school, there should be some form of adult education provided to that person. Now, what I would say is that for the female correctional center within a special court standard or former special court building, as we can say, they somehow look decent and it is not overcrowded, so to speak. Reasonably, the number is enough and it looks decent because me don't visit that correctional center. For the male correctional center, particularly the central prisons, na Pademba Road, Gilead, anybody will go is under way commander will get very bad story for telling about the way of life in that facility, and the way how people they live, how they struggle under. Where if you're not possible waiting a door, you're not going to wish for let you dog self go stand up for leave days for just a day. Because the conditions are definitely not suitable for any human habitation. What a man for live in them conditions today. But we're not able to set that up. And besides that, one, the Paremba Wood in this case was constructed decades ago for about 300 or less than 400 inmates. Today, it is holding close to 2,000 or more inmates. You can imagine if they build hosts, let's say the host get like 300 rooms. So they say, okay, 2 persons per 1 room. So it's not 2 persons for sleep inside 1 room. Then on a 15, 20, they sleep inside 1 room. It simply means say that facility don't overburden and overwhelmed, as with mannequin put them, overwhelmed and overburdened. When we say no cater for the number of people them don't say therefore cater for. And that's really bad. If you see, I don't know whether you see one documentary where Umar Vufana been do some time ago. Even an AYV news story. Bo. It was in Bo. Yeah, where the Some inmates they would on the day, some man are for common petty offenses, misdemeanor offenses, as it is called in law. Petty, some man are just sometimes thief mobile phone, then basic larceny, then petty offenses them. Some man are microcredit, some man be take money, be go to us, sometimes not will pay back at the time it was supposed to pay, and plenty other things there. If you see them prisoners and them body, their skin alone, it don't rikishi the way they show them back, then they waist them, they go down to their foot. They not show their face, they move their chest, their leg. If you see crow and other rash and rabies and what have you. So man, when they go show the cells, they would then officers and them inmates and they be they sleep. If you see the condition of the cell, way bad off. Chinch, mosquito, these all things mix up and box up. So 10 chances to 1. If you go take like 2 years and a half, by the time that they pull you, the secret separate from that.